James Denselow is a writer on the Middle East and joins us now live from London. James, good to have you with us here on Al Jazeera. The US, of course, hoping to bolster the Turkish-Israeli rapprochement. Turkey, a key regional power, and everyone agrees that this Israeli-Turkish cooperation is important when it comes to the Arab-Israeli peace process first. In your opinion, what would Turkey's involvement change? What role would Turkey take on as far as the Israeli-Palestinian peace process?
Well, I think this is a very important moment. Firstly, to say, before I come to the point about the Israeli-Palestinian process, this was quite a tired and emotional Secretary of State, yes, who obviously wanted to sort of talk about what happened in Afghanistan first and foremost. But when it comes to your question, well, Turkey obviously has the potential to act as an honest broker in a way that the Americans have struggled to do so in the past. And I think it's a critical importance for Washington, whose influence in the region is waning over the last 6 years or so, that they have Turkey, a respected regional power and an ally of theirs, actually working with another ally of theirs in Israel to somehow come up with some form of process that everyone can agree to sort of negotiate with. So I think the phone call that was made from Israel to Turkey when Obama was there was a moment. I think Kerry's trip is about shoring up that relationship and now seeing if there can be some practical benefits to the Turkish good offices that can lead to some form of discussions between the Palestinians and Israelis. And
would Turkey, you think, could Turkey play a role in bringing the rival Palestinian factions back together, Fatah and Hamas?
Well, I think it's a really difficult question to answer because the divide between the Palestinian factions has been widening for so long now. But I think if anyone can do it, the Turks can. I think the waning of American influence has been matched also by the increase of Turkish influence. The numbers of issues that were discussed and were just mentioned now in this press conference, I think, reflect the increasing role that Turkey has in the region. Iraq was also hugely mentioned, the territorial integrity of the country, considering the oil deals that the Turks are making with the Kurdish areas in the north, the recent peace treaty made with the Kurds in their own country allows a whole range of new options for their relationship with Iraq too. So I think Turkey is a critical player. It's respected. Right. The fact that it took this sort of rather hardline reaction against Israel after the Mavi Marmara, I think, has gained it some traction. It'll be interesting to see what practical benefits come out of this press conference.
Now, what about on the Syria crisis, James? How is the rapprochement between the two regional powerhouses, Turkey and Syria, going to change things on the ground, whether it's militarily or on the humanitarian front?
Well, I'm not sure the rapprochement is actually the issue here. I mean, the issue is Turkey is hugely involved in Syria. There's two main aspects to this. The first is the humanitarian aspect. There's over 200,000 Syrians in Turkey. There's more coming across. America is very concerned that the border remain open. There's also the talk of direct aid perhaps going across that border to the 4 million plus internally displaced Syrians who are increasingly struggling to sort of look after themselves, considering the collapse of the state there and the lack of humanitarian support and access. So that's one thing. The second thing is, of course, the Turks' role in supporting the opposition, in providing weapons and training, perhaps, to an increasingly assertive opposition on the ground. There's not a sort of a stalemate in Syria. There's a slow, grinding conflict that is seeing the opposition win territory and win strategic victories there. And I think, considering the reports we're hearing out from the New York Times last week concerning US acquiescence and involvement in the increased training of vetted Free Syria Army members and wanting to make sure that happens through Jordan and Turkey, that's a critically important subject to discuss. So the fact that Kerry was only appointed in February and this is his third trip to the Middle East, I think reflects the changing dynamics on the ground, the increased urgency on Syria, where the conflict, the exponential kind of expansion of the kind of consequences of this conflict increases every day.
Okay, James, thank you very much for your insight. That's James Denselow joining us there live from London.